We told you weird things would happen later in the Saints season, and here we are, where the black and gold has a chance to defeat the NFC South leader in back-to-back weeks. This time they go for a sweep of the Carolina Panthers, which would improve their division record to 3-2. Yes, you heard me correctly. What do we think? As he is each Friday, Zach Ewing is here, and we'll share the news of the day on the Saints and make our predictions. We'll also talk a little bit about whether the shocking news at Michigan could have a trickle-down effect at LSU. And how's it going for Tulane in their preparation for the CFP opener at Ole Miss? All the haters are saying, Green Wave, we're going to lose by 40. Are they right? And wait for it. The Pels won. That is not a typo. The New Orleans Pelicans won a game. I'm at a loss. I don't even know if I can figure out how to start the show. I don't even know how to tell you that the Pick'em crew's coming on later on. It's so exciting. Oh, wait. It says here, the Dattitude podcast starts now, and press this thingy here. Okay, let's see.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? Are we in the Christmas spirit, or are we bah-humbugging? Like every other fat man this time of year, I am jolly, and I can't wait to begin Dattitude, episode number 450. 450. Presented by Evangeline Securities for a Friday, December 12th, 2025. Happy birthday, Kristen Ellis. I'm your host, Jim Derry, 35 years in the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you for being a part of the Dattitude family. You know what's special about our show? You know what it is. All the regulars are here already. I don't need to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You can be a part of every episode by typing in your comments, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X. You can find me on X, by the way, at Jim Derry Jr. via email at jim@jimderry.com. But type in your comment. You talk to us. We talk back to you. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Just takes a second. Please subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page. Give us a like, a thumbs up, whatever it is, wherever you are watching today. And don't forget, we're not too proud to tell you that we are now monetized on YouTube. And if you want to donate to our little show, we certainly would appreciate that today. All right, what is coming on today's show? We got lots to talk about and little time to do it. Of course, we're going to start off talking a little bit about the stuff that's going on at Michigan. We're going to talk about the Pelicans very briefly. I actually made a slide for the Pelicans today, so that's coming up. We'll talk about the Pelicans winning there. They've now got a whopping 4 wins on the season. The Saints have a chance to do the same on Sunday. So what do we think about Saints-Panthers? We'll probably talk about that for about, I don't know, probably about half the show, maybe a little more than half the show. Zach coming on. We'll give our Saints-Panthers predictions coming up a little bit later as we do each week. Are the Saints, you can't say for real. I mean, they're, what do we have? 4 games left. They're 3-10. I mean, are they for real that they stink? Or are they for real that they could be improving and they could be better? How many wins are they going to make? You remember the over-under win total at the beginning of the season, I believe, was 5.5. You could get it at 4.5 at some places, but it was 5.5 at a lot of places. I know some people who made that bet are sweating right now, whether you bet over or under. What are the Saints going to do the last 4 weeks? Is this the toughest one of the 4? I don't know. Did you watch the Falcons play last night? Falcons beat the Bucks. More coming up on that. So we're going to talk about Saints-Panthers. We're going to talk about, again, LSU trickle-down effect will affect what quarterback they're going to go after in the portal. Will it affect? I mean, just think about it. I mean, there's people talking about this out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but wouldn't it be kind of comical if Michigan? There's nothing funny about the Michigan situation, but if when in their coaching search, if they go after the rumor that they're going to go after Kalen DeBoer, let's say they get Kalen DeBoer, then what does Alabama do? Would they throw the Alabama National First Bank and Trust at a certain coach who just already made a move, would that dude even think about it? I don't know. Answer's probably no, but you never know. Let me know in the comment stream what you think about that, because we're certainly going to talk about that this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about Tulane. Tulane is supposed to be solely focusing, and here's what you worry about if you're agreeing with. Now, obviously, there are lots of things going on at Ole Miss, but Tulane has its things. They got a coach that's leaving as soon as Tulane's done, which most people think will be on December 20th, as soon as that game's over against Ole Miss. That line has gone up. The money is on Ole Miss. It went from 16.5 to 17.5. That's a significant number. And now new coach Will Hall, he's trying to figure out how to fill his staff and at the same time prepare for the most important game in Tulane history. So it's a balancing act. We'll talk about that coming up as well. Did you see Tampa choke again last night? They were 5-1 on October the 12th. They beat the Saints on October the 26th. They were 6-2 heading into the bye week. 6-2. They're now 7-7 and a half game back of the Panthers in the NFC South. And as I said in the open, that means the Saints now have a chance to defeat the division leader in back-to-back weeks. Back-to-back weeks. The Saints could beat the NFC South leader. Amazing. Anyway, okay. Who did this? I got to go look at this. Charles Mangus, we appreciate the super sticker of $4.99, $5. Thank you so much, Charles Mangus. You have been a regular. You've been here forever. Kyle Sherman, you, sir, take crunch to lunch. Man, $50 from Kyle Sherman. And I've told y'all, and look, Kyle has helped me, and Gabe just walked back into the green room. Did you see this, Gabe? Wow. Kyle has helped me a lot behind the scenes, for those of you who don't know, and I've only mentioned it once or twice, so you may not know. But thanks to you, Kyle, and thanks to everyone. Thanks to every member of the Dat family. Whether you're donating to the Dattitude podcast or you're just watching, you're just part of the family, and you've just been commenting, whatever it is, however you're a part of the Dat family, even if you're just watching and you're not commenting, we love you. We thank you so much as we go independent here and try to make this thing go on our own. And we're off. I'm telling you, we're off to a great start. I told you the other day on Wednesday, Evangeline Securities, they have officially come along for the ride. Joe DiStefano Insurance, and we got a couple others that we're working on going in the future. We are off to a great start. I thank y'all so much. That really kind of touches my heartstrings. Thank you, Kyle. Really. Cedric Bolo this morning. Good morning. It's always a good day when the Saints win. Even better when the Bucks lose. Who dat? I don't know. It's kind of bittersweet, Cedric. And he says, he follows it up with, he's a Falcons fan last night who thinks that Baker is overrated. The division is just weak right now. Saints will be back on top. Now, I hope the Saints are back on top too, but I don't know that I'm ready to say that Baker's overrated. That might be a little bit much. Overrated. Look, you can't say last night he had a great game because he had Mike Evans back, Chris Godwin's in there, Emeka Ibuka's in there, and they scored 26 points, and they they stalled. They didn't play very well in the second half. They had a 20-14 lead at halftime, and they only scored, was it 20-14 at halftime? No, it was 14-13. I'm taking it back. They were losing 14-13 at halftime. They scored right out of the chute and made it 20-14. And then they scored a touchdown and went for two and didn't get it, 26-14, and then just stalled out, and Atlanta came back and won. So, yeah. And look, on that first touchdown that the Bucs got, because I know this well because I have Chase McLaughlin on my fantasy team. Nobody cares about your fantasy team. That's not the point. But I'm hoping they're going to kick a field goal, and Atlanta committed, 16, 17 penalties last night? And on that drive where Tampa took the 20-14 lead, Atlanta had, I'm not exaggerating, they had 5 or 6 penalties there in the red zone that kept the Bucs drive a lot. And they kept giving them opportunities. So, look, I don't think you could say Baker is overrated, but I definitely think that you can say last night he didn't play very well. Is Tampa going to continue this in the playoffs? If they even make the playoffs, right now they're only 52%. The Panthers are right there. It's almost 50-50. So this is a huge game. Look, I mean, obviously it's a huge game for the Panthers. And if you look at their schedule, they play Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks. Okay? So obviously that's no easy task. But if they beat the Saints and they beat the Bucks, 1 out of 2, if they sweep the Bucks, they're certainly in, no matter what they do against the Seahawks. It's going to be an interesting last 4 weeks in the NFC South, and the Saints are actually going to play a role in this thing, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Christopher Crump says, who died Friday? Everybody, hopefully the guys will pull off 2 in a row. Go Saints, 28-24 over Carolina. We'll take our predictions later. Don't send them in too early. You won't get them in. We'll actually send them in. But who died? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Maybe I should know. I don't know. Gary, good morning. Going to be chilly this weekend. Oh, it's going to be super chilly. I think, what is it? Tomorrow it's going to be nice. It's going to be around 70 here in New Orleans. But then Sunday, it's like high upper 40s, low 50s. Lows up here in the North Shore, I think, are going to be like 28. Burr, baby, burr. SLO who dat? I'm glad you messaged in. And I actually, we're calling you Slow Who Dat and from SLO, California. I do know this, and I just it brain fart, obviously. San Luis Obispo, California. I'm glad you typed in this morning. Wondering if Tyler Shough continues to do well, what we do in the draft. What do we do in the draft? I think that's already, I don't know what we're going to do in the draft, but I can tell you what we're not going to do in the draft. Tell you that the Saints are not going to draft a quarterback. They have so many other needs. Again, whether I think they should draft a quarterback, whether you think they should draft a quarterback, or whether Joe Blow thinks they shouldn't draft a quarterback, I think the Saints are basically telling you they're not going to draft the quarterback. And I've changed my opinion on this, by the way. All right. Kyle, again, thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning, Dattitude. Bryce Underwood to LSU, question mark. That's going to be definitely something that we talk about going on here upcoming. In fact, you know what? Let's get to it. I'm going to get to some more comments in just a minute, but I do want to talk about LSU football, and that's how I'm going to start off the show here. I'm going to do a little changing up here. But before we get to all this and some more comments, let me tell you about my friends at Evangeline Securities. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can figure out what that business is worth. That's you. If it's someone you know, it's time to reach out to Evangeline's founding and managing partner, Nick Braden. He will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from their offices, either on Pointer Street or in Lafayette. From there, you'll be well-informed to begin to make the decision on if you want to proceed. More coming up on that later in the show. But for now, we'll just tell you, if you want to check them out, now's a good time to do so. www.evangelinesecurities.com. All right. Let's hear from our friends at Joe DiStefano Insurance, and we'll get this thing kicked off. If you own a small business of fewer than 20 employees, you know how tough it is to get the best rates on health insurance. That's why you want to call Joe DiStefano Insurance. Joe and I have known each other for almost 40 years. I can tell you that he's someone that I trust. Look, health insurance shouldn't be one size fits all, and with Joe DiStefano, you get access to PPO networks and flexible plans designed to fit you, not just a cookie-cutter mold. Joe's licensed, he's local, but he can help you no matter where you live and operate. From preventative care to peace of mind, we'll tailor a plan that works for your life today and tomorrow. Call Joe DiStefano at 504-234-2132 to protect what matters most. Thank you, Joe, for helping sponsor the Dattitude podcast here on this Friday morning. It is cold outside, baby. It's cold outside. Randall says, what players are committed to LSU that played in the Dome yesterday? Yesterday, I don't think there were any LSU commits in the Dome that I know. Maybe there was someone from Dunham. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I will find the answer to that, and we'll get back to you on that. Good morning, Jody Alexander. Welcome. Apathy, good morning. The Dennis Allen clone beat the diet brand of Dennis Allen last night on Thursday Night Football. Man, what a mess of a game, though. You want to talk about teams playing for a while, it looked like I think Tampa was just playing not to lose. I think that was their big problem. You know what? I'm going to throw up the Saints right now because we're probably going to talk more about the Saints. We're going to get an LSU with for a moment here with Zach in just a minute. But I think most of these comments are here talking about Saints. And look, it's going to be interesting, I think, going forward. And you talk about Tampa and Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta stinks. Tampa and Carolina going forward. Who's going to win that division? I've been telling no one wanted to believe me. I'm not saying they're great, okay? But I said Carolina is either average, maybe a little bit better than average, and now they have a legitimate chance, a realistic chance to win the NFC South. But wouldn't it be something if the Saints go to 3-2 in division play and beat Carolina, sweep Carolina? What happens if the Saints sweep Carolina? Carolina goes on and beats the Bucs, sweeps the Bucs because they still got 2 games against them, and they end up winning the division. And the Saints would have swept the division. I mean, the Saints have a chance to go 4-2 in division play with as bad as the year has been. It's crazy, isn't it? Charles Menga says he's glad the Bucs lost. Why would you be glad? Here's the thing, though. Okay, I'm no Bucs fan. I don't care about the Bucs one way or the other. They're in the division. They're not like, I don't know. But Gabe's right. People clowned us for saying Carolina was a decent team. One of them's in the green room right now, by the way. We'll get to him in just a minute. But are you really glad that Tampa lost? The Dirty Birds beat him. That means you were rooting for Atlanta. I mean, you know what did win last night? What did Gabe and I tell you on Wednesday, Thursday Night Football? What was our best bet? Over, baby. Ching. Ching. Mark Gapsky, good morning. Rocky, happy 450. That's right. 450 episodes. This is amazing that we are still in the air sometimes. See, Errol's pick says he's not going to lie. He hates to see the Falcons win, but it is hilarious watching Tampa Bay fall apart. It really kind of is. I mean, all right. So that I can understand. You're not necessarily rooting for Atlanta, but it was kind of funny to see Tampa Bay lose that. Mark Gapsky wants to know, who does he start in his fantasy playoff? Shough, J.J. McCarthy, or Mariota? Gabe and I agree on this one too. Gabe says start Shough. I would not start McCarthy under any circumstances. And I'm sorry, I'm just not Mariota. No, not doing it. Ron Henderson already making his prediction. His early pick, 26-24. Adam Varner, you've seen the same room as a lot of people are. Bryce Underwood wanting to come back to LSU. Please, God, no. Why would you say, please, God, no? I mean, I don't know if I'm a fan or not, but I mean, wasn't great as freshman year, but he certainly wasn't terrible either. I mean, what do you want LSU to do? I mean, you can go get Levitt, but Mark, I'm not showing any more of those comments. Just saying. Lance, who dat? Go Eagles tonight. State championship. Division II select. I will be there covering the game for Varsity Sports Now. I'm looking forward to it. Had last night's game. Ascension Catholic was an afternoon game again. Ascension Catholic, Riverside. A lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Yes, Mark, the Pelicans did win a game last night. In fact, just because I made it, I'll show it for just a moment. Pels won for the first time since November the 24th. They're 4-22. You know, how about this interesting coincidence? The last time the Pels won on November 24th, they also scored 143 points. Does that mean they have to score 143 points to win? They don't play again until Sunday at Chicago, and then they got a 3-game homestand before Christmas. They hadn't won since before Thanksgiving. That is so sad. So super sad. Randall with the super chat, $5. Thank you so much. You believe either Sark or Marcus Freeman takes the Bama job if DeBoer leaves for Michigan? I don't know. I don't know. You think Sark would leave Texas? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think. Musette, thank you for the $10 super sticker, super chat. Are you still out of the country? Were you in Europe somewhere, I believe, right? Good morning. Happy to support my informative show. Who dat? Thank you so much, Musette. We appreciate you and everyone else who's a part of the Dat family for being a part of this whole thing. Mark also says Saints going to have a lot of money to spend in free agency. I wouldn't go that far. I think they're still going to be over. They're still going to have to get under the cap, but it's not as bad of a situation as it's been. Let's see as we get along. Got to bring on Zach. He is in the green room. We're about ready to go there. Mark says Will Hall is the new Tulane coach. Wasn't he 1-11 last year at USM? He did go 1-11 in his last year at Southern Miss, but he also had a pretty decent career in FBS, and I think he's done a good year as an assistant this year. All right, time to move on. Let's see here. All right, we're gonna bring in Zach, and he's festive. Why are you so festive? We still got 2 weeks to go before Christmas, and you're just like a jolly old elf.
Well, I thought about saving this for next Friday, but next Friday is going to be a little crazy because I'm driving up to Ole Miss after I come on the show, so be a little bit hit or miss. I don't know if I'm going to be, able to wear the hat. So
you don't. You gotta get. You're afraid to mess up your hair or something.
Santa does too. Your hair? I actually put hats on when my hair is messed up. That's the strategy.
Okay. Well, I mean, they don't allow Santa hats in Oxford. What are they, a bunch of Grinches?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can still wear it there. By the way, Randall, can I allow membership on the channel? I'm working on that. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for members only. That is coming next. I have not done that yet, but that is coming. Zach says, "Oh, you said you want to you talking about Ole Miss home playoff team be a home digit double? No, oh yeah, duh. You mean because they will be? Let's see, they would probably be the 4 seed. Who's going to be the 5 seed? Right?
Probably Seattle, the Rams, or maybe Green Bay. I mean, like
you're talking about be a 10-point dog
between 7 and 10. I mean, we'll see. What were the Rams there a couple weeks ago? 8.5, 9.
I think 9.5 actually.
And I don't. I mean, that was. I know Carolina beat them. It was kind of a fluky thing. I don't think that line is going to move a lot if that's the rematch.
All right, a lot of people saying hello to you, and I guess they like the hat. All right, I'm gonna switch slides here because I actually want to start off with very briefly want to talk about Tulane because Will Hall is in a very strange spot. I'm reading about how he's trying to figure out how to fill his staff, but at the same time he's also trying to figure out how to beat Ole Miss, and that's a tough task in itself. So it just goes to show that while Ole Miss has its issues and they've obviously lost a little bit of focus and they're trying to figure out how this is going to work in a couple weeks, or I guess less than a couple weeks, a week from tomorrow. At the same time, Tulane has its struggles as well.
Yeah, it's the calendar is just messed up. And I think it's funny to hear some of these coaches complain about it and say, oh my gosh, the calendar, I can't believe how difficult this is. Who do you think wanted the calendar set up this way?
Yeah.
It was the coaches. So
yeah.
They go to these conventions and they say, oh, hey, we should move the transfer portal here and we should do this so that, maybe we can get some time off with our family in the summer. And I understand all of that, but you don't get to change the calendar around and set these things up and then complain about it when it affects you. It's like, I mean, you're the cause of it. So I kind of chuckle when I hear that. I do think it's untenable. Something's got to be done, but I don't know what that is because you can't, as long as you're going to keep up what in many cases is a facade of these teams, these players being students first and athletes second, you have to abide by the academic calendar. You can't have transfers coming in the middle of the semester. So you have to get the transfer portal done by, mid to late January so that these kids can actually get enrolled in their new school. So if that's your deadline, but you're not going to play a national championship game until mid to late January, you're going to run into this at some point.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. By the way, Musette says she's back from Austria and Germany, fully in the Christmas spirit. I bet after you saw everything, Zach is a huge fan of Austria and Germany, aren't you?
I have been to Munich and Salzburg. My brother lives in Munich, so I'm familiar with that area. Yes, 2 NFL games in Munich next year. I got my fingers crossed the Saints will get one. I don't think they will.
I thought they were going to Paris.
Well, they're going to Paris at some point in the next 2 years. So I guess what I'm hoping for is either
back to back.
I mean, they've done it before, or they do what the Vikings did this year and they get back-to-back games over there. And one is a home game and one is a road game. You know that you do. If that's the case, you actually have a really big advantage the second week because you've been over there for a week, whereas
I will say this.
Second team has to come over.
I will say this. I'd almost rather that if they're going to do that. And here's the reason why. I hate when they steal a home game from you. And so now you lose the advantage, which a lot of, next year the NFC has the advantage of having 9 home games and 8 road games. And they did it to the Saints, not last year, but they did it to them 3 years ago. And they took away one of their home games and sent them to play Minnesota in London or whatever. So if you're going to do that, at least take a home game and a road game. So then you have 8 home games and only 7 road games. So I would at least, I think I would rather see that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying about the home games. I think it's just the reality that sooner or later the NFL wants to play 16 games overseas every year so that everybody plays one. And that's just going to be the extra home game for those teams at that point. So I understand what you're saying, but I will say I went to that Saints-Vikings game in London, probably the favorite NFL game I've ever been to in my life. The atmosphere was unparalleled, even by the Super Bowl. I mean, just incredible atmosphere.
You're like a European at heart. I mean, you probably got euros plastered on your wall somewhere.
I do love Europe, but I would never live there. But I'm telling you, like the games over there, the atmosphere. Like if I understand it's expensive, it's a big commitment. If you ever have the chance to go, it's unbelievable.
And Gabe corrects me. The English use pounds. I don't give a rat's ass. You know what I mean?
Pound sterling, Jim.
Yeah, all right. Well, here's something that Apathy's. I know you agree with this one. Apathy says 325 games in the Dome are terrible. I know how much you love 325.
I mean, I kind of get it when it's a big game, like when under Breeze, when the Saints would play, a big divisional game, or they have the Packers in there, and you're like, okay, this is the Fox game of the week, and everybody. Right. I get that. What are we doing, man? This is actually.
I don't know why they do that.
But this is the third one. What are we doing? If
Fox and I think there are 5 3 o'clock games this week. If Fox has the game of the week, why would they have any other game plan at 3:20? Why do you need another game plan? They never used to do that. If Fox has a 3:25 game of the week, that's the only game on Fox. Now I understand you got to have a couple games on the other network on CBS or whatever it is, or vice versa. If CBS has got the 3:25, those can be
the West Coast games.
Exactly.
They want to
make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. By the way, I won't be there Sunday. I will be there for the Jets game, but I won't be there this week.
I'm not 100% sure I'll be there for the Jets game, so we may not see a lot of each other because I'll be driving back from Ole Miss. I'm gonna try to make it, but that's the one I would have liked to be 3:25. I'd make it back in time,
but that one's not. So this is the last 3:25 game, I think, for the Saints. I think their 2 road games are both at noon.
Well, the week 18.
Well, the last one's TBD. Yeah, but week 18, they're not going to make them play. That's going to be at noon. There's no way they're going to. That's going to be a meaningless. It's going to be a meaningless game. They're going to play it at home.
If they play the Panthers-Bucks game that week at 3:25, they will probably put Falcons-Saints at the same time, just to make it. But if I think Panthers-Bucks is a pretty good candidate to be the Sunday night game that week. So,
no, it could be.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh God, I don't know if they want to do that or not. Again, I'm going to go back.
Affecting it.
I'm going to go back to. I want to, and I'm sorry that we didn't spend a lot of time with talking about Tulane this morning. I promised that we will next week, leading into their playoff and their playoff matchup, and I'm sure Zach and I will be talking about that next Friday as well. So sorry, Tulane. Don't mean to short you, but we got some other things that I want to talk about, including LSU, what I'm going to get to in just a moment. But I want to get to a couple of these comments too, so don't forget them. Lance says he's calling for Jeremiah Love for the Saints. Kellen Moore wants to build the offense around a run game. Needs to do it. Can get a guard. Boy, everybody, it's so funny how people are just like, please, for the love of Christ, don't pick an offensive lineman. I'm like, I'm all about Jeremiah Love. I think that's fine. And we're going to get to the draft, obviously, when the season's over. But what is the number one need for this team? I don't think anyone can truly disagree. I get that you don't want an offensive lineman in the first round, and I'm not even saying that's necessarily what the Saints should do. I don't know. I'll let you know what I think later. But there's no question that the number one need for this team is along the front. For the New Orleans Saints, they need two guards, really. I mean, theoretically, you could move Fuaga to guard and draft a tackle, which people would really hate. But there's all kinds of options. I'm not saying that's what the Saints should do. Running back's going to be in the mix. Skill position is going to be in the mix. Maybe even defensive edge rusher, depending on where they draft and who's available. But you got to think that offensive lineman is certainly going to be a possibility.
I would be surprised if that was their first pick. I mean, we'll see. But like you say, you don't.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be either.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that let's say the Saints are picking 7th. Okay, I'm just throwing a number out there. Could be higher than that.
That's about right, probably.
But that means their second round pick will be like number 39. You get a really good guard at number 30.
Yeah,
I agree with you. They need one. But if you look at where some of the best guards in the NFL were drafted, very few of them are like first round picks. Like Joe Thuney of the Chiefs, he was a 3rd round pick. Or did he go to the Bears? I lose track of where you did. Somebody went to the Bears.
Yes,
Bears. But he was. I'm looking at last year's Pro Bowl roster. Okay, Chris Lindstrom of the Falcons, he was a first round pick. He was 14th overall. Gray Zabel of the Seahawks had a good rookie year. He was number 18 overall. Like Landon Dickerson of the Eagles, who's turned into kind of a perennial Pro Bowler. He was 2nd round, 37th overall. So right there. So you're not typically using a top 10 pick on a guard. Jeremiah Love, to be honest with you, I like Jeremiah Love. I'm not a huge fan of using a top 10 pick on a running back either. The Saints are in an interesting spot because you could sit there and say, well, here's what they need, and just sort of force it and say, well, they need an interior lineman or they need a running back, so that's the pick. But I'm still thinking the Saints are in best player available mode. And if the best player available is an edge rusher or a wide receiver, they quite frankly could use that too. They're leading.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who leads the team in sacks this year? It's Cam Jordan. It's an amazing story.
It really is.
You just can't count on that going forward. So people say, oh, they got Granderson and Chase Young. You never
Fountain of youth, baby.
If you have a chance to draft an elite edge rusher, 100% you're doing it, I think. Wide receiver, I know Devon Vele is kind of having a breakout. If you have a chance to draft an elite wide receiver, 100% you do it. I'm just running back and guard can be addressed later. Or there's always the trade back option. I know we say that every year. Saints never do that. Maybe they'll finally do it this year if the price is right. I don't know. But the point is, for a team like this, I'm in full BPA mode. Best player available.
Yeah, I don't know about best player available. It's got to. I mean, if the best player available, I don't think I'm going to be not happy if they draft an edge rusher. I get there are a couple really good ones at the top. If the Saints end up in the top 5, they're going to have decisions to make. I get it, but please, for the love of Christ, draft offense.
One of those positions, though, that can change around your whole franchise. There's not very many of them.
They just gave a shit ton of money to Chase Young.
But not really. Not really.
Not really. It's $13 million a year.
But where he's being paid at that position, he's not in the top 10. I'm not even sure he's in the top 20. So it's a spot where you can always use impact. After a quarterback, it might be the spot where you can turn a franchise around the fastest. So yeah. I know what you're saying. Like, they probably have other needs as far as like they literally don't have a starting guard right now. I get that. But if you have a chance to draft an elite edge, I think you do it. And then guard can be 2nd round. It can be 3rd round. It could be free agency. It's just not something, a top 10 pick to me, too valuable for that.
I hear you. Dylan Smith, thank you so much. $20, baby. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate you and I know you've been a regular and you've been around. We thank you so much. Let's see. I wanted to there was one I missed. I wanted to show here. Where is it? Dang it. Live TV, Derry. Where is it? Oh, Rocky says, O-line, baby. He wants O-line. Bill says he watched a couple of podcasts for the Panthers. All they think about is beating Tampa for the South, forgetting the Saints and Seahawks. Well, I don't think they're really forgetting the Seahawks. That's not coming up for a couple of weeks. But, I mean, in their defense, and I'm not saying, they have to remember who they need to beat first, but at the same time,
yeah. Like that Bucks loss last night was embarrassing, and like Todd Bowles is cussing up a storm in the post game, and I've never seen him like that. But ultimately, for either of those teams, if they sweep the other, they're going to win the division. The other games don't matter. If you sweep, like now, if you split, which is probably the most likely, then that Falcons game ends up meaning a lot, unless the Saints can do the Bucks a big favor on Sunday. But yeah, you're basically in. If you sweep the other team mode, you're in. So I don't blame them for thinking that way.
Daryl says, good morning. He's been hunting a little bit, doing a little deer hunting, and he's enjoying Shough. We're going to get to Shough in just a minute because I'm going to move on to LSU for just a moment before I come back to the Saints. But Charles Mangus, man, Cam Jordan, and I joked, said he's drinking out of Endymion's chalice. I don't know what's going on, but he is definitely jumped into the fountain of youth or something. Who that daddy says, good morning. He says, wide receiver. I mean, you could definitely make a point that they need a playmaker at wide receiver, but I'm okay with, I think you already have a wide receiver one. I know some people don't agree with that, but you have a wide receiver one. Huh?
I'm one of those people who disagrees. I think Olave is a good player. I don't think he's a game changer.
Well, I don't think you draft a wide receiver in the first round. That's my opinion. You got too many other needs that are more important, but we'll get back to that. All right. I'm going to get back to some of these Saints comments. We are absolutely going to spend a lot more time on the Saints here this morning, some with Zach, some with me later on. But I want to pick your brain here a little bit on LSU. The Texas Bowl is up there just because that's who they play next. That's not that big of a deal. What is a big deal, and let's get serious here for a moment, because the news out of Ann Arbor and that area with Sherrone Moore not only losing his job because of what's going on up there in Michigan, but he's also waiting to be arraigned. He is in a Michigan jail in Washtenaw County, according to the Detroit Free Press. He's expected to appear in court for arraignment at some point today, and Michigan continues to get more information on going on, but. Obviously, a sad and I don't know if tragic might be a little bit too strong of a word, but just crazy goings on around the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, it's an insane story. Obviously, you do hear quite a bit of the. Look, Nick said to donate that to me. Okay, just.
Oh wait, okay, hold on. Super chat from UBN. He wants to donate the $20 to get a new hat.
As Santa hats go, man, this is quite luxurious. It's it's nice and furry and warm. So you can buy cheap Santa hats. This is a good one.
UBN, by the way, will be coming on a little bit to make us pick them. We thank y'all. So everyone, not just everyone. Thank y'all so much. It's a little bit overwhelming at the moment. But go ahead.
Yeah, that was some levity. But yeah, it's like you hear about this sort of thing from time to time. I mean, we heard about with Bobby Petrino. You hear about like these guys have affairs, they're away from their families. And I don't want to minimize that part of it, but this is obviously much more serious than that. If it became a stalking situation, charges have been filed and Sherrone Moore is looking at jail time over this. That's obviously much more serious. As far as what it means for the college football world, what a spot Michigan's in. And if they could pull off something like pulling Kalen DeBoer from Alabama, which is I think he's the betting favorite right now, then what a spot that puts Alabama in. And then Alabama they've got the cachet to go pull somebody else and put some other poor school in a terrible spot in, like in late December or January or something as the transfer portal's open. So we could be going through round 2 of the coaching carousel here.
And interesting enough, all these rumors, just throwing it out there. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if Kalen DeBoer decides to leave and Alabama is looking for a new coach and they throw the kitchen sink at a certain coach who already made one move in the last couple of weeks, just saying, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I really don't think. Even by lane
Could you imagine?
Standards, that seems. If this was a year from now and he had been at LSU a year, I'd be worried for the Tigers. I mean, after a month, Like, come
I'm
on.
an LSU dude, but I would find it comical. I'm sorry. I would find
even now he must know that's you just can't do that. And to be honest, like, I know Lane Kiffin worked at Alabama. Is Alabama a better job than LSU? I don't know that it is. If it is, it's not by much. I think LSU has a better recruiting base. Alabama's obviously had more recent success, but I think just from the NIL situation, I guess you'd have to parse. But I think if I'm Kiffin, I'm happy where I'm at.
Lance says after a month, it's Lane freaking Kiffin. That means it could happen.
That's the only reason we're even talking about it, right? Is because he's done.
It's
stuff
absurd
like
that we're talking about it.
But I really don't. I would be stunned. I would be stunned.
Earl says if anyone would do it, it's Lane. Kyle Sherman says he's not sure Alabama would want him.
It seems unlikely to me that Michigan could get Kalen DeBoer, right? Like, why would, unless DeBoer is trying to get out ahead of the mob if he loses to Oklahoma or something, and it's like you missed the playoffs in year one, you lost in the first round, year two, and you're going to get fired, and he's just looking for an out. But other than that, I don't think you leave that job if you're DeBoer, do you? That seems unlikely.
Well, here's the reason why I think DeBoer might leave. Because and look, I get it. It's not that much better at Michigan, but you would start over. You would start fresh. Your rope would be longer at Michigan. I mean, to me, if Alabama were to lose by a couple touchdowns in the playoff against Oklahoma, I'm not saying that's going to happen because I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. But even if they were to lose, period, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, on people that want him out anyway. And then he goes into the next season. If they don't get things going next year, the pressure is going to be back on him. So I think that he might be interested in looking at somewhere to go to where, look, I can leave on my own. I can make this thing look good, and I can start all over again at Michigan. But, like Gabe says, I think also a possibility is Brian Kelly, and that would be pretty fun and pretty interesting as well.
I saw some social media comments from Michigan people that
they'd lose their minds.
They would riot if Brian Kelly was the choice, and I don't really blame them. Brian Kelly seemed very checked out to me. That might have been his biggest issue. And if he's checked out, I don't want any part of that guy. I mean, even at a place without the expectations Michigan has, it would be, man. Then what would Bryce Underwood do? That'd be your other question.
I don't know, but I certainly would enjoy it a little bit. All right. Let's talk about and that gets into. That's exactly where I was going next, by the way. Derek Branch says, let's see. Bama might target Kurt Cignetti if DeBoer leaves from Michigan. Kurt Cignetti's not going anywhere. He just signed that extension. Yeah, he doesn't want to go anywhere. So I doubt seriously Cignetti's going to leave. So I don't care who targets Cignetti. I really don't think he's going anywhere. Bill says the reality show of college football. And Gabe says Cignetti was a Saban assistant, though. Yeah, I don't think
he's like
maybe
2 years old or something. I think he's happy where he is.
Yeah, I think you're right. Rocky says he thinks Brian Kelly would end up in Michigan. That would be a funny, hilarious story. All right, you get into Bryce Underwood, and to me, Bryce Underwood, Sam Levitt. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. I mean, those likely would be the two top targets one would think for LSU in the portal. Are they the two best quarterbacks that are going to be in the portal? Probably, but go ahead, Zach. Talk about it a little bit.
I was going to say, what about if Trinidad Chambliss, who's applying for a waiver for an extra year? That to me makes the most sense. But Bryce Underwood, look, I know he wasn't as good as Chambliss or Levitt was this past year, but he comes with 2 more years before he would enter the draft. That to me is a big deal where Lane Kiffin could develop him for a year, and then maybe you'd be set up for something really special in 2027. It really depends. Kiffin, this is why you hire Lane Kiffin, because he's an offensive mind. He can look at these guys and say, I can do this with Bryce Underwood that maybe I couldn't with Trinidad Chambliss. This is where you've got to trust the guy and say, watch the film and say, this is the guy I want, and we're going to pay whatever it takes to bring him in. And that's why you hire Lane Kiffin, because he is the best fit to make that call.
Couple of notes on Underwood and Levitt. Underwood is 6'4", 228, pretty big size. He 61% completion rate this season. Guess what? Sam Levitt also 61%, by the way, in his 2 seasons at Arizona State. Underwood threw for 2,200 yards, only 9 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Levitt, meanwhile, 6'2", 205. Like I said, 2 seasons at Arizona State, 4,500 yards in 20 games, 34 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. This year in 7 games, he missed some time, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So I don't know. And
you're also
like you said,
comparing Big 12 to Big 10. That's
absolutely, you're right.
Strength of schedule is a thing there.
It's 6'7". It's whatever. Kyle says, give Underwood a great coach. He gets a better result. Lance says Kiffin was hired to win now. Chambliss is coming to Baton Rouge. Maybe.
If he gets the winner, I think that's most likely.
UBN, and this is just what he wants to see. He says coaching change. DeBoer to Michigan, Brian Kelly to Bama. Yeah, right.
Oh my God. That's what every LSU fan wants to see. They would love that.
Yeah. All right. Again, we'll see how this goes on. Again, more news coming out about we'll probably hear more about Sherrone Moore later on. Just a sad story. I don't really want to get into the details here on the show, but I'm sure most of you know what they are. If you don't, you can go find them very easily. But Sherrone Moore has been detained now for 2 days in a Michigan jail. They have 72 hours to either charge him or release him. So that's why an arraignment most likely coming later today. They have until tomorrow, is what I get. All right, let's get back to the Saints and talk about this weekend and what they have going on. Have you even thought about this? A chance to defeat the NFC South leader in back-to-back weeks, Zach Ewing. Insane. And it's realistic.
As you guys mentioned, sweep the potential division champion. I just, the way I was thinking about this, if Juwan Johnson holds on to that pass against the Cardinals and Chris Olave comes in up with that catch against the Dolphins, the Saints would be extremely live to win this division. That's how bad this division is. I mean, we've been sitting here
really is bad,
crapping on the Saints all year long and talking about how bad they are. If they had 2 more wins and they were 5-8, and they've now split with the Bucs and have a tiebreaker edge over them, and they could sweep the Panthers and have a tiebreaker edge over them, and they finish with the Jets and the Titans and the Falcons. Would we be talking about, like, that's how crazy bad this division has been? I thought the Bucs were kind of legitimately turning the corner into a serious contender, and they have had a ton of injuries. But
right.
You got to give the Panthers credit for I think they've gotten fortunate several times. I mean, I've not backed down from the fact I don't think they're all that good of a team, but they have played a lot better. I think you give Dave Canales a ton of credit. He's done a great job. And then they've just sort of caught some breaks in these big games, and they keep finding ways to beat teams they really have no business beating. And you look up and you're going, well, if nobody else is going to win it, maybe it's just going to be Carolina.
Earl says, what part of the bipolar Panthers are we going to get? And he also says, if they would have started chucking in week 3, we might have taken the division. Look, I will say this, and I'm going to defend Spencer Rattler here. I thought once you made that decision, I've said this before, once you made that decision that you were going to go with Rattler, and we don't know if they just wanted to spend time developing Shough behind the scenes. I mean, if you throw Shough to the Wolves and if you throw Shough to the Wolves and he stinks, then you might ruin the kid. So, I mean, I actually think that the way Kellen Moore has handled the situation thus far, I think it's been for the best for the team, and I think it's showing that way.
I don't think he was ready, and I also think you look back at their schedule at that point, and we knew it was tough. We didn't realize quite how tough that schedule was, where 3 out of 4 weeks they played the Seahawks, Bills, and Patriots. And I don't think Tyler Shuck's beating those teams. Even with where he's at right now, I'm not sure he's beating those teams. So to say give him 5 fewer weeks of development and throw him into Seattle and Buffalo, I don't think you're faring any better, and you might have stunted his development a little bit. So I disagree with that one. I think, yeah, like you could argue, should he have done it a week earlier, a week later? I don't, but I think they did it around the right time.
Yeah, I agree. And look, like I said, I was in the beginning, I was for Shough to start week 1, but I mean, in hindsight, I'm going to give the Saints credit. I'm going to give Kellen Moore credit. I think they've handled this the best way possible. I think look, again, in hindsight, I'm going to say it. I think the Saints did the right thing in starting Spencer Rattler. I think they pulled him at the right time. I might have waited one more week. Zach and I talked about back then, would they start him on the road to Carolina? Maybe, but getting him out there against the Rams gave them a chance to win at Carolina, and they did win at Carolina. So, and then the bye week came up, and it turned out being the right. So I actually think the Saints have handled this as well as they could have handled it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's also true from the individual perspective for Tyler Shough. I think that's what he needed. I don't think he needed to be out there as a rookie, again, playing against that tough schedule, and Rattler was more advanced at that point. We saw that in the preseason, saw that in training camp. Let him take the job. Spencer Rattler, I think he made himself a career this year. I think by playing those games and kind of showing that he can at least hold the fort down, he's going to be a backup quarterback in this league for I think a pretty long time.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think that is the case. And look, I don't think the Saints need to draft a quarterback at all. I mean, like you say, I definitely think Rattler has done enough to be a backup quarterback. You don't want him, in my opinion, you don't really want him to start unless you have to, but you're okay if he has to start 3, 4, 5 games if something were to happen to Tyler Shough. And look, we're not ready to say that Tyler Shough is the complete answer, but I think we're all on the same ship of, I think we're ready to go into the 2026 season to give him a full season. I think he's shown that he potentially could be that guy. So I think we're going to find out. All right, I want to get into the actual game this week, and the question, obviously, the headline: can the Saints sweep the Panthers? Well, of course they can. They're only 2.5, and I forgot to fix that dang slide. It's the Panthers are -2.5, not +2.5. Sorry, I forgot to fix that slide. I'm just noticing that I didn't. But anyway, so but the Panthers only 2.5 point favorites as the division leaders, showing that the Saints are. It's a little bit of the Saints getting some respect, and the odds makers don't know what to think of this. As Earl called them, bipolar Panthers just yet.
Yeah, the Panthers, if you look at just like power rankings and market rankings for the betting market, they're still not considered a good team. They're still like number 25 in the NFL. And so the fact that they're favored in any road game, in fact, I would have to look. Maybe Gabe could check this real quick. Have the Panthers been favored on the road yet at all this year? I'm not. Maybe they play the Jets. I'll bet you they were favored at the Jets. But other than that, like, this is not a team that is going to be a big favorite over anybody. And the Saints they've got a little bit of an uptick going. And so I think people respect them. I'd be very surprised. I mean, what's your opinion? I don't think that number hits 3 at any point.
Oh, no, I don't think it's going up.
If it does, you'll get
I don't think it's going to move.
Yeah.
It really, neither the total nor the line has moved at all. And as Gabe says, Carolina was a 1.5 point favorite against the Jets. And basically that's today, -1.5 base almost means even money. That's pretty close to even money. That means you're -120 on the money line. More times than not, you could be -130. It was probably -120. So they were barely favored against the Jets on the road. So yeah. But you look at the. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, did you see the look ahead line for next week? Saints are 3.5 point favorites.
Are they really? Wow. No, and
that's how down the Jets are.
We'll see. All right. You look at the season rankings for this week and where the teams face off against one another. And again, the thing that sticks out, there's a couple things that stick out, but is Rico Dowdle going to actually get involved in this game, unlike him getting involved in the last game? Chuba Hubbard, I don't know if he played the last time they met, but he wasn't a factor either. Panthers couldn't do anything offensively, but yet they're still 10th in the NFL in rushing offense. The Saints are 23rd in rushing defense. So that's going to be a place where if the Panthers are going to win this time, they're going to have to be successful. Meanwhile, for the Saints, when Bryce Young does pass, and the reason why they were able to get to him last time, the Saints are up to 6th in the NFL in passing defense. Just goes to show how they've improved over the past 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, and the biggest difference is really, you mentioned Dowdle not getting involved. He had 21 touches in the team's first meeting. So it's not like he didn't get a chance, but he only had, let's see, I'm looking at the box score, 53 yards rushing and 10 yards receiving. So he had 63 yards on 21 touches. That's right on the dot. 3 yards per touch is not like the Saints were able to shut him down. And when they were able to do that, and I'm sure that's going to be the strategy again this week is, hey, Bryce, come beat us. And that was the Saints. I know it's different system, different coordinator, everything, but that's been the Saints strategy against the Panthers ever since Bryce Young came into the league. And it has been successful. Now the Panthers won the one game against them that got DA fired. But even in that game, Bryce Young threw for 171 yards. That's his high. That's his career high against the Saints, is 171 yards. He has not been able to solve this defense. He gets a bunch of passes batted down at the line. Saints seem like they're able to get pressure. Like, that's got to be the strategy, is you load up against Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard and you say, hey, Bryce, come beat us. And he has really yet to be able to do that.
Breaking news this morning. Gabe Henderson is saying that On3 is reporting LSU running back Caleb Jackson is headed to the portal. So another LSU, we already heard about DeJuan Johnson leaving, going to the portal. There's also, can you look, Gabe? I just got an alert, something about, I think there's breaking news with Sherrone Moore and the Chargers. He's going to check that out for him. But anyway, LSU loses another running back. That's another thing Lane Kiffin's going to have to do. And we can go back to the LSU slot if you want, but kind of all over the place this morning. But LSU's going to need to find themselves a running back because they're now down to Harlan Berry, pretty much. I think that's it.
Caden Durham is still there, right?
Oh, Caden Durham, yeah.
They actually, I think, are pretty comfortable with Harlan Berry as the starter, but they need depth for sure.
Yeah, they don't have any depth there at all. Earl's Picks, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. You're a regular. You've been here for a while. You are part of the Dat family. Thank you so very much. Gabe Henderson, here is the news on the charges against Sherrone Moore. 1 count of third-degree felony home invasion. Oh, my goodness. 1 count of misdemeanor stalking related to his domestic relationship. 1 count misdemeanor breaking and entering. And that's to the, I guess, allegedly to the staffer that he had an affair with that he fired on Monday. And then he got fired and allegedly lost his mind. And, man, what a sad story. Well, so more of that coming out later on today, but Sherrone Moore has been charged with a felony and 2 misdemeanors. So we'll see how that goes. All right, back to the Saints here. And meanwhile, Saints offensively rushing that number, they're 28th in the NFL. I think you have to be impressed with what Devin Neal was able to do last week, especially against what's supposed to be a pretty decent Tampa Bay rushing defense. But it doesn't look like Alvin Kamara is coming back this week. And honestly, Zach, I don't think either one of us would be surprised if he doesn't play again this year. And maybe never again for the Saints.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to go quite that far, but I'm going to guess he gets out there again this year. I think he wants to. It's not going to be this week. We'll see. But clearly the Saints are ready to transition to their running back in the future, whether that's through the draft, whether they like Devin Neal and Kendry Miller enough to make them sort of the 1-2 punch going forward. But yeah, I like what I've seen from Devin Neal. I think it's interesting. He knows that a running back can get his bread buttered in the NFL through pass blocking and being the guy who will do the dirty work and just kind of stay in there and pass block. And he's shown that he's good at that. And so I think he's going to, kind of like Rattler, whether it's as a starter or not, I'm not sure, but he's going to have a role in this league for a long time.
Yep. We'll see what happens. But I think I'm very interested. And I know that's the least of these 4 categories. It's probably the least sexy, the Saints rushing offense against the Panthers rushing defense. But I think it's going to play a role in Sunday's game for sure. And then we've already talked about Shough, and the Saints had the 21st ranked passing offense against the Panthers 18th ranked passing defense. So it is time. It is prediction time, boys and girls. So if you want to get your prediction in, now is the time, as Zach and I will do the same as we do each week. Earl's Pick says Kamara can still be a good third down back. I don't think the Saints going to keep him around to be.
He doesn't want to pass block, though. If you want to be a third down back, you have to pass block. And Alvin Kamara has shown that he doesn't really have a lot of interest in doing that anymore. So I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't either. And I just don't think he's going to be here next year. I think the Saints are going to cut him, and they'll take the $8.5 million of salary cap relief this year or this coming year, and then they'll have to tack on $8.5 against them in the following year. But I think that's what they're going to do. And so if Alvin Kamara doesn't play again for the Saints this year, I don't think he's ever going to play again for the Saints. So we'll see. More on that coming up as we get later in the season. All right, time for our picks again. If you want to get your prediction in, now's the time. We're going to start off with Zach's prediction, and he thinks that the Saints will not win. What you got?
I thought about this in the aftermath of last Sunday's game, and I thought, oh, well, now they got Carolina at home. They can sweep Carolina, and Saints might finish on a winning streak, or they might finish 4-1 in December and January, or oh my gosh, the lights at the end of the tunnel and the Saints are there. And then I thought, you idiot, what happened just a month ago? They beat Carolina and they came home, and you were thinking all the same thing. And after the bye, and the Falcons just kind of came in here and bullied them. And I don't know that the Panthers are really capable of bullying. It's not totally their style, but we got to remember this Saints team is still a bad football team. And that's not to say they can't win any more games. They have probably the worst two teams in the NFL, maybe throw the Raiders in there, coming up in their next two games. They're going to win more games, probably plural, more games. But and this week, very well, maybe one of them. Like I said, Bryce Young has never played well against the Saints. He's never had anything approaching a good game in the Dome. I mean, I think he's like, if you gave him a report card, like we're talking F for both of his career games in the Dome. He has been atrocious. So
he has been.
He's got to change that around. I could totally see the path to the Saints winning here, but you just, man, they had some things go their way last week. Some penalties against the Bucs in key moments. Emeka Egbuka drops that wide open pass in the end zone. Tyler Shough is barely escaping sacks and getting out of it and running for touchdowns. Like they had some things go their way. Let's not sit here and pretend that this is suddenly a good football team. Just going to pick the loss.
All right. So Zach picks the Panthers to win it 20-16. He's picking, not only is he picking the Panthers, but he's also picking the under. San Luis Obispo, who dat? Thank you so much. $10 coming from California. We thank you very much for your donation.
Go have some Woodstock pizza out there in SLO.
Woodstock
pizza. Woodstock pizza in San Luis Obispo. It's good stuff.
SLO, who dat? Have you had Woodstock pizza? Let me know in the chat if you have. All right, a couple other comments before I get to the picks, and then my pick. Charles Manga says Alvin Kamara is still a Saints Hall of Famer. Well, of course. I'm not saying he's not a Saints Hall of Famer. I'm just saying that he's done. Lance says they're not cutting Alvin Kamara. He's back next year splitting reps with Jeremiah Love. I will tell you this. If the Saints think they're going to draft Jeremiah Love, then Alvin Kamara is almost definitely going to be cut because you already have a running back too. Devin Neal is your running back too going forward. I just don't. You're not going to spend. Yeah, Kendra Miller. That's right. I didn't even think about him. But you just. I don't think. I would put Alvin Kamara's chances at being here next year about 20%. That's what I mean. I just think that. I think that you're not going to spend $12.5 million on a run. I mean, I get the whole loyalty thing, and if any team would do it, it'd be the Saints because that's who they are. But I just don't think the Saints are going to spend $12.5 million on Alvin Kamara because you don't even know how many games he's going to play. He's going to be 31 years old. He showed he can't hold his body couldn't hold up as a 30-year-old. He's not going to hold up next year. I know it's not a popular thing, but I don't see him being there next year. We'll see. No, you can comment before I show my pick if you want.
I don't know that it's 20%. Like I'm more 50-50. I think there's definitely a chance he's gone next year, but I wouldn't put that in pen yet.
All right. Some picks. Yeah. I mean, it's a 6-7. I know it's getting old, but my kids do it. So it's stuck. Charles Manga says, go ahead.
With my fourth grader, I'm going to the LSU women's basketball game on Tuesday. And we've all, I don't know, as media, you've probably been to some of these field trip games where the noise is just piercing because it's so many kids. It's like at 11 o'clock in the morning and there's like 10,000 kids in there. But I am going to have my phone ready for some 6-7 video if LSU hits 67 points. I just because you've seen some of these, it has the potential to be epic. I just hope the Saints. Actually, I don't know if I'm hoping more for that or if I'm hoping for LSU to have like 66 and then hit a 3 or something, and everybody goes, no, it's like
that's what I think. That's what should happen. That would be way more fun. I'm not sure if Jarris is a Carolina fan and he just happens to be here trolling, but he says Panthers 30, Saints nothing. Saints ain't getting shut out. Now they will just because I said that, but that score would surprise me immensely. Charles Manga says Saints 24, Panthers 21. Lance says Saints 24, Panthers 17. Bart Prudhomme says Saints win in overtime. High scoring, 31-28. Uh-oh. Mark Gapsky says Saints 31-24. Everybody's picking the Saints. That's not good. Bill says Saints 24-19 winner. Charles says when Zach picks the Saints to lose, they win. I don't know about
5 on
that.
my Saints picks this year, so I don't think that works out.
Alvin says the Saints win 17-14 on a Charlie Smith 65-yard field goal. Wow. I mean, it's possible, I guess. SLO's Hoodad says that you're right. Woodstock is great and a favorite of the local Cal Poly students. There you go. UBN says Carolina 7, Saints 6. Okay, well, I am not feeling great about my pick now since everyone has picked the Saints. So I don't feel very strongly about this when I tell you that I think the Saints are going to win 26-23 over the Panthers. I just like the way the Saints have been playing. The Panthers I think they might be looking ahead a little bit to Tampa Bay. And I agree with whoever said it earlier in the show. It's easy to have your mindset on what's coming up because of the fact that they got to play Tampa in 2 of the last 3 weeks of the season. It's easy to look ahead. Little Christmas present. The Bucs are looking for one. I mean, the Panthers are looking for one. And I just don't see the Panthers leading. I still think they're not going to make the playoffs, even though I've been touting them all year and telling you I think they're a decent team. And I do think they're a decent team. I just think the Bucs are going to find a way to get it together. And Todd Bowles' maybe overreaction, somebody's got to notice that because he doesn't act like that very often. I think the Bucs are going to get it together. I think the Saints are going to win this week. But again, I don't like that all the Saints fans are picking the Saints.
This feels so much like the Falcons game. And I think we were on opposite sides. I picked the Saints that week, and you were the one who was like, hold on, everybody. This is not that good of a team. I'm taking the Falcons. And you were right. And so I really hope the Saints can finish strong. And again, I think they can, even with a loss this week. They could run off 3 in a row to end the year after this. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. But
they could.
I would pump the brakes on just, they're good now and they're going to roll through these teams. That offensive line, still a mess. Although it would help to get Fuaga back, I think. It'd be good to see him play the rest of the way. The offensive line still a mess. Defensive line still super hit or miss as far as how productive they are. Secondary, you can still get burned. I mean, there's still a lot of areas on this team where you go, it's just not that good.
Look, I'm not going to the bank. I'm not betting that. I'm just telling you that I it just feels like I think I'm putting this as much on. Maybe I'm getting caught up in the Tyler Shough hype. I don't know because I really like what I've seen. And I do think it's at least going to be a fun game to watch. I think the Panthers will play better than they played at the bare minimum. So I'm not super confident that the Saints will win, but that is what I'm going to pick. Randall wants to know, when's the last time the Saints swept Carolina? Well, it wasn't that long ago. How about 2023? They beat them September the 18th of 2023, 20-17 in Carolina, and then they beat them in the Dome 28-6. They got swept the year before that, and then in 2022 they split. 2021 they split, and then let's see, in Drew Brees' last year in 2020, they swept them. So there you go. There's your answer, Randall. Lance says, who dat, Derry? Zach, the team may not be good, but the defense is much improved. They carry us again to a win. So, David Herman, there you go. May I feel a little bit better. There's a Saints fan picking the Saints to lose. Carolina 17-14. Sean wants to know, will there be 2 coaches fired in the NFC South after this season? I think just one.
Very possible. It's very possible.
You think Bowles is going to get fired?
Fire Bowles yet? I mean, the guy's won 4 straight division titles. He's got 1 bad year with a bunch of injuries. It's possible, but I would bet against it. Now, Raheem Morris is dead man walking.
Yeah. UBN says 2023 was the great Derek Carr led Saints, and then that just enough to piss off Lance. Hakeem says, we said the same thing about Mac Jones, and he had a damn near a career game. The stakes are different, but I hope the results net the Saints a win. We'll see. Any final thoughts here this morning?
No, not really. I mean, I'm looking forward to a meaningful game. I think it's cool that this does mean something to the Panthers, and you're going to get a team coming in here giving, like sometimes we wonder about these late season games, and you go, okay, well, the Saints won that game, but everybody's playing their backups a little bit,
right,
and that's late season. And we will have that these last 3 weeks, by the way. It's going to be hard to read a ton into what the Saints do, but that's why it's nice to have these meaningful games against the Bucs on Sunday, now against the Panthers, where you can say, yeah, these teams they're desperately trying to win these games. And so if you can knock them off, that means something for the Saints. Also, I do wonder, thinking about that comment, what's the best coach quarterback combo in the NFC South right now? Yeah, that's a low bar to clear. But Baker Mayfield has regressed. Some of that may be injury. The Saints are.
That's a kind of a sad, disgusting question.
I don't know that they're number one right now, but they seem to be maybe the most optimistic to look forward to for the future. Unless you think Dave Canales is just going to solve Bryce Young.
He could. I mean,
I think Bryce Young has some things that can't be solved. He's too short. He gets too many passes batted down. He doesn't see defenders. Like some of that stuff you just can't fix. Unless you're going to be Drew Brees and be a master processor, you can't play quarterback at that size in the NFL. And Bryce Young's not a master processor. So I worry about that even with a good coach like him.
Talking about short people here on the Dattitude podcast? It's not very
short,
nice.
Man. But I don't play quarterback in the NFL either.
Short people got no reason. Anyway. Well, that's an old song. I'm going way back when. Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know why. Maybe I'm still in the back of my mind hopeful that the mistake that I made literally the night before Derek Carr left, announced his whatever, and I made a bet on the Saints. An irrational in the bet, grab my phone. I think I should bet this. And when you do this sometimes and you just I think I should bet, and you don't think about it and you just go bet it. I bet the Saints over 6.5 wins. Yeah. That's.
You could get there. You could get there.
It could happen. I just got to win out, baby. It's not over. It's mathematically possible. I'm just saying. So, all right, Zach, we will, I won't see you this week in the Dome, and it's 50-50. I will be there for the Jets game. We don't know if you'll be there or not, but you'll be here next Friday some kind of way. And if you can't get a better hat, maybe, we'll give UBN super chat so you can go find yourself a better hat.
All right.
Enjoy this last week with the kids still going to school before all hell breaks loose.
Chaos in the house.
See you next week.
All right.
Zach Ewing, everybody. Yeah. Chaos is coming. Lance says that he's with Zach. UBN says Zach is so short. He's allowed to call people short. Lance is still pissed that UBN brought Carr up. Charles Mangus is saying 7-10 or 6-11. When I say that I'm hopeful, and Bill's hoping for me, I'm not realistically thinking that it's possible. I said 4.5. I said 4 wins. I said 4 wins. I still think it's going to be 4 wins. It might be 5. If I'm right this week, I think they'll win one more. They'll beat the Jets or Tennessee. I don't think they're going to beat both of them. I don't know which one I think they're going to beat. They'll beat the Jets or Tennessee. I just don't know which one. And Hakeem, you're 100% right. That's what happens when you win. Everybody's back on a wagon. But you know what? It beats everybody thinking they stink, right? I guess I'd rather this, right? That's where we are right now. Lance, you said 10. You're not necessarily a dummy. You were just hopeful, right? All right. It's almost time to move on. Before we do that, we told you earlier we'll let you know more about how Evangeline Securities can help you figure out what your family-run or privately held business might be worth and whether it's time to sell. How do they do it? Best question of the day, by far. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, native New Orleanian Nick Braden and the folks at Evangeline will begin an extensive auction process among established private equity funds from around the world, the whole wide world. They will maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities is the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area, and none, 0.0, with their dedication and success. All that talk about going to Paris got me in the mood of speaking French. It's the best I can do. Evangeline is fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick about what's really important. You know what's really important. It's not whether the Saints win 5, 6, 7 games. Sorry, couldn't help it. You know what's really important? Not 6 or 7. The rest of your life. That's what's important. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. You know what time it is. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for me to shame myself, boys and girls. That's right.
Finally.
I stink. Finally what?
You finally get to shame yourself.
Yeah, that's about as bad as it gets. I'm sorry, boys. I brought minus 41. I think only UBN's had a worse week than that this year.
No, I think Gabe had
like a minus
60 or 44.
I thought you had like a minus 60 once or something stupid.
No.
You were almost to 100 at one point.
Yeah, after 3 weeks. Like, this is easy.
Yeah, it's easy. Well, the man with the fire is the man on the right. 2 in 1 week, but he had 2 outstanding picks. He's got 32.5 points last week. UBN went 2 in 1, 8.5 points. That's the point differential in our picks. And me, sigh. I still have the best overall record. I'm 22 and 16 after an 0 and 3. So I guess that means I've had a good year overall, but a minus 41 will definitely take you down. I'm no longer in the lead with points. It's Gabe who leads it at 43.5, and UBN's right on my tail, just 2 points behind. But here's the thing, boys and girls. These are our picks against the spread. This is not just picking, I think so-and-so is going to win. No. These are picks against the spread. We are all above 500. Gabe was 1 above 500. I'm 6 above 500. UBN 5 above 500. So even with my limited Shough math skills, we are 12 games above 500 as a team. Can we keep it rolling? That's the question.
You messed up on reading my score. You should have read it Panthers 6, Saints 7, 6-7. That's what I was going for.
Sorry. I was just so happy that you got the black and gold this week.
But they won. I'm good.
Yeah.
Back on the bandwagon.
All right. Gabe's been pretty quiet. We're going to let him start first with his picks since he's on fire. Can he go on fire again this week? By the way, before we get into it, there is crossfire this week. That means one of us has one pick and another one of us has something different. Gabe, what do you think it is? I know you said earlier you think you know what it is. What do you think?
Is it the Monday night game?
It is the Monday night game. It is the Monday night game.
Okay.
We'll just
I thought it was.
leave it. We don't want to ruin anything for anybody. All right. Start off with your picks again. Coming off a 2 in 1 week where you had 32.5 points above in your point differential. You got the Ravens. It's going against Derry's golden rule. You're picking a road division favorite to cover at Cincinnati minus 2.5.
Do you know how many times Lamar and Joe Burrow have played in Cincinnati?
102.
Twice.
Oh shit!
You were only 100 off.
Okay.
Almost like you fixed last week.
Exactly.
Lamar is 2-0, not only straight up, but against the spread in those games. I think this is a do or die game for the Ravens. I mean, it really is for both teams, but if we're looking at both teams, the Ravens have a much better shot of making the playoffs. And with the Steelers playing the way they are, that gap needs to be closed this week. I'm going to go with Baltimore on the road.
Okay. And then you just can't stay away from them NFC North teams. You got the Cleveland Browns and the Chicago Bears. You got an under 38.5. That is a low under. You have no faith in Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams to score a lot of points this week.
Have you guys seen the other forecast?
Wait, what, Nick?
Shedeur might put up 39 points by himself.
He's that damn good. I know. Go ahead, Gabe.
Have you guys seen the weather in Chicago?
It's like snowy, isn't it?
Yeah, wind chill -2.
Yeah, a low of 2 and a high of 10 with a wind chill in the negatives. It is going to be one of the coldest games in Chicago history, which is saying something. And it's got some wind.
But Shedeur played in snowy weather last week.
5 of the last 6 Browns-Bears meetings dating back to 2005 have gone under 38.5. So I think this is going to be ugly. This is your typical December football game in Chicago.
All right.
Take the under on field goals in both these games. Both these teams.
Yeah.
Shh, don't say that out loud because my opponent this week in our playoff game has the Bears kicker as his kicker. Shh. Don't say that out loud. All right. You got, speaking of the Monday night game, you got
playoffs. I sat Pitts last night.
Dolphins getting 3 at the mighty fighting Aaron Rodgers.
Have you ever seen a more typical Mike Tomlin letdown spot? This is the quintessential Steelers letdown spot.
The problem is it's Coach Gucci
has won 4 in a row. You can say that, Jim. Coach Gucci's not as bad as you think. He's not as bad as you think. No,
he's horrendous.
No,
he's terrible. He's
strung together more wins in the last 4 weeks.
I hope they keep him because if they keep him, they'll do the same shit next year. And good luck with that. The Dolphins suck and he sucks. Go ahead. I'm not saying your pick's wrong because you're absolutely right about the quintessential spot for Steelers.
I mean, 2 things can be right. He could be right about the spot, and he could be right. You could be right that Gucci sucks.
Gucci sucks.
I really don't think Gucci sucks. I really don't.
He's fun. He's fun.
Jim's more of a Louis Vuitton guy. I mean, that's why he don't like Bucky.
So yeah, Miami's won 4 in a row. This is a quintessential letdown spot for the Steelers in prime time with the chance to, regardless of what happens in the Baltimore-Cincy game, keep a lead atop the division. I just don't see it happening. I see Miami winning this game outright.
I am in no shape or form to give you any grief over your pick. So even if I didn't like it, and I have no feeling about this game whatsoever, even if I didn't like it, I wouldn't give you any grief. Someone does have a thought about this game, and you know who it is?
Uncle Bidnick, can we make some picks today? Well, can we please?
He doesn't care about the damn song. He's like 5-1 the last 2 weeks. He's on a roll. And you don't like Gabe's pick.
No, I hate it. Just because Miami won in the cold for the first time ever against the Jets, now they all of a sudden better. I mean, they're all on a 4-game winning streak?
I think they are a better team than the Steelers.
I don't think so.
You think the Dolphins are a better team than the Steelers?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of they have. Do they deliver crack in Houston? Is that legal in Houston to deliver crack?
Jim, this is one of the biggest cities in the country. I'm sure they do.
I'm just wondering. I mean, does DoorDash do crack in Houston? I just want to know.
I'm not, but you and Zach talked earlier about the fraudulent NFC South. The Steelers have been gift wrapped the easiest division in football.
You just hate Aaron Rodgers like I do.
I don't have anything against Aaron Rodgers.
Okay,
I hate him as a person. I think he's a piece of shit, but I have nothing against the Steelers. I'm tired of the same thing I'm tired of the same thing from the Steelers every year. They're not a good football team. They haven't been a good football team in years.
They don't have to be a good football team to beat Miami.
I agree with
Miami beat Buffalo at home in Miami, which strange things happen in Miami. Tom Brady lost in Miami all the time. So I'm just throwing it out the window, division game, whatever. You know who else Miami beat in the 3 games? The Commanders, the Saints, and the Jets.
Come on, man. That's good teams.
I mean, really come on. Like, they're just going to go into Pittsburgh and whip up on this defense, even though T.J. Watt got stabbed in the lung. I don't know if he's
playing. You say this defense as if it's 2015. The Steelers' defense is not very good anymore.
Neither is Tua.
I don't disagree with you at all.
You just said Miami's a good team.
I didn't say – no, I said they're a better team than Pittsburgh. I didn't say they're a good team.
That's crazy.
That doesn't make –
I know how much you hate Rodgers, but I trust Rodgers in the cold way more than I trust Tua in the cold.
That's also
So
fair.
that's basically what this pick is doing right here. Everybody's high on Miami, and I just think they come back down to earth in this game.
Randall says, can we all agree that Mike Tomlin should be fired if Pittsburgh doesn't win the division? Burrow and Lamar miss chunks of the season. The Browns are the Browns.
Ready for a hot take? I think he should be fired anyway.
You're insane.
You talk about, Jim, look at Pittsburgh. They haven't won a playoff game in, 9 years?
It's their personnel. I mean, they bring in a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Once you really address your quarterback situation, I mean, if you really address your some things just are out of his control.
Is this Tomlin's fault? Because Tomlin wanted to draft a QB, but Ben Roethlisberger was pissed about it, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, well,
to keep Ben happy. Now he's in this pickle where he doesn't have a bad. He ain't like Rodgers that had Love or Favre that had Rodgers.
I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach. Sorry.
No, so do I.
I kind of agree with that.
He's a great football coach. It's time for him to leave Pittsburgh.
I mean, it's time. He'll leave when he wants to leave, I guess, is my guess.
He'll be like Vrabel. Everybody will call him.
Here's my answer to that. I think it's absurd if you fire Mike Tomlin. Now, if Mike Tomlin says, you know what, I want to go, my time here is run its course, okay. But you don't fire Mike Tomlin.
I don't think Pittsburgh has ever fired. They had 3 coaches in the last 50 years. I think since I've been alive, they've had 3 coaches.
Yeah. Since I've been alive, since I was 1 year old, they've had 3 coaches. Since I was 1.
Oh, I'm not saying they will do it. I'm not saying they will. I don't think they will do it because
I could see him in 92 saying Chuck Noll should be fired. I mean, we all know what kind of grief. Anyway, moving on. UBN likes Pittsburgh. There's our crossfire. Steelers -3. Somebody's going to lose unless Pittsburgh wins by 3 and they both push. Someone's going to lose there. All right. You got the Chargers going to Kansas City, and you don't think a lot of points are going to be scored. You got the under 41.5.
This is basically like Gabe's pick. It's going to be 12 degrees in Kansas City. And, I mean, both these offenses, what have they shown? I mean, the Kansas City is terrible. I can't see a lot of points being scored in this game. I mean, when Herbert has a broken hand, Chargers barely put up 1 touchdown last week. I mean, this is going to be a defensive.
Chargers aren't playing very well. I don't.
Their offensive line.
They're
it's really
banged up on the offense, which bodes very well for them in a couple weeks.
They keep putting Penning in. I mean, they've been playing Penning a lot in the tackle is eligible position, which I said
that a couple of weeks ago. How bad is this offensive line that they had to go get Penning?
Yeah. Brian Cabot says, this the show again. He likes the Saints to win 27-23. You like this pick, you said?
I love this pick.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick.
This is, people have said it for weeks about Kansas City. This is truly a do or die time for Kansas City. They have to win out to make the playoff. If they don't win this game,
they got to win out and get like tons and tons of help.
No, they actually don't need tons of help. They don't need tons of help.
No, I think they only need with Indy being banged up.
Yeah. They don't need tons of help. They win out, they're probably going to get in, actually. But they do need to.
I think they'll show up in this game.
I like this pick. All right, moving on. You got. I have a pick in this game, but it's not the total. You got Bills, Patriots over 49.5, and that seems like a lot of points, but I don't know. The Bills almost scored 49.5 on their own last week to give me, I don't know, like a -96. Me taking the under in the Bills Bengals game last week. I'm only joking by a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I don't know. Josh Allen's going to put on the Superman cape. Drake May's not going to.
I hope he doesn't. I'm playing against him too.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo is just. People talk about their defense like it's good, and it's not. I don't get it. Like Burrow chewed them up, and without them 2 turnovers, they win that game. And Drake May has been playing great. They're coming off a bye. These 2 teams know each other. Normally that means lower scoring, but I think with these 2 offenses, I just can see this being another shootout.
And again, I'm not going to bet this, but I would tell you why I don't like the over in this game. I think usually when you get a game like the Bills had last week, I'm not saying I hate this pick, but normally I'm just going to stay away from when they did what they did last week. It's hard to do that 2 weeks in a row, especially against the division opponent. Again, it's not necessarily a pick that I'm going to go and bet against. I'm not going to go bet the under. I just don't know that I would go out and be one.
The way I'm looking at it, do you think New England and Buffalo will put up 24 points?
No.
24 points each. You don't think so? I
No,
think
I
so. That's 48 right there.
I think it's gonna be like a 23-20 or 26-20 or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I think the only thing I would worry
I don't hate
about
it. I don't hate it. I just don't want to bet it.
Only thing I would worry about in this game is the clock because both teams are going to run the ball.
Definitely. They're definitely going to try to run the ball. And Earl says they playing in the snow. That didn't affect Buffalo last week. They played in the snow last week. That
both
game.
These teams are going to affect
in fact, I think they did better when it was snowing than when it stopped snowing.
Yeah. To be fair, does the Cincinnati defense kind of cancel out playing in the snow?
Yeah, Cincinnati defense is so bad. They don't address that. I don't know why they just never keep not addressing their defense and they keep not addressing their offensive line.
They can score enough points, but if they score 41, they give up 44. If they score 44, they give up 48.
You keep having a terrible offensive line and you keep getting your $900 million quarterback hurt. That's not going to help you. All right. You like the Bills Patriots over 49.5. I have a pick in this game. I'm going to jump right into it. And my big question is, why in the hell are the Bills favored? I don't understand. Look, they've been average at best on the road. Buffalo's lost its last 2 games in Foxborough. And Mike Vrabel's record against the Bills in his coaching career, let's go for 16-2. He's 16-2 against the Bills. It's a chance for New England to put this division away, and I think they really are that good. I know we talk about Kansas City having to win out. Buffalo doesn't necessarily have to win out. I know they're going to be focused in this game, but I just think New England's a better football team. I think here's their chance to seize the moment. You're going to give me 1.5. I'm going to take it. New England's at home, plus 1.5 against the Bills. All right. I don't think I'm going to go 0-3. We'll see what happens with the rest of them. All right. Then you got old man Winter coming back to football. Colts are going to Seattle. It looks like Phillip Rivers is actually going to start. And Seattle, we know that they have had games where they've just like whooped up on inferior opponents. See Atlanta, see the Saints. But they got the Rams on a short week coming up. They play the Rams on Thursday Night Football, and I think they might be looking ahead a little bit. So I think they're going to win this game. I don't think they're going to struggle to win the game, but I do think they're going to rely more on their defense. It's going to be a lower scoring game. Give me Seattle and the Colts are under 42.5. And then it's the first time I've had the fleur-de-lis in my picks the entire season, and I got it as an over. And I think, I don't know, what happened in game 1 between these two? It was a low-scoring, ugly matchup. Now that the Panthers have their sights set on the division title, I think their offense is going to be a little bit better. Actually, I think it's going to be a lot better. I think Rico Dotto is going to have a decent day. I think the Panthers will be able to run the football. We'll see what Bryce Young's able to do. But I think the Shough improvement is real. I don't think it's fake. So I do think the Saints will continue offensively to be able to move the football against the Panthers team, a defense that's just been okay, maybe even worse than average. So I see the Saints scoring in the mid-20s. I see the Panthers scoring in the mid-20s-ish. That's enough for me to take the over. That's a low number, 40.5 in the dome. So there you go. My picks. Either y'all want to chastise or like on my picks, now's your chance.
So you don't trust Grandpa?
How quickly is Phillip Rivers going to regret coming back?
The 4
teams he plays. Nailed. The 4 teams he plays, well, 2 of them are 2 of the best defenses in the league. He plays Seattle and Houston. And then he plays San Francisco and
he's got to play
Jacksonville.
Houston?
Yeah, Phillip Rivers is going to play Houston in week 18.
He might break his leg or a hip.
They might actually kill him.
He couldn't run at 24. He can't run at 34. He definitely ain't running at 44. Like,
he might break a hip, y'all. Like, I'm not joking. That's nasty. Anyway, I don't see the Colts scoring.
Not available?
I love Jonathan Taylor, but I just don't see the Colts scoring more than 10 points, which is why I have no idea. To shame myself even further, last night I decided, let's use Tyler Warren in my first playoff game instead of Kyle Pitts, who I left on my bench.
At least I took Kittle over Pitts. I mean,
I know I'm an idiot.
Tyler Warren's been good.
He's been great, but he's got.
But you notice,
throw it to him.
Do y'all notice how bad Warren and Jonathan Taylor started off great, and then when Daniel Jones couldn't run anymore because of his broken leg, they've been terrible the last 3 weeks. And now everybody's just crowding the box and stopping Taylor and stopping Warren. What you think they're going to do
Colts
now?
are frauds.
You're going to have 11 guys in the box.
Don't forget, not only does Daniel Jones now have a fractured fibula, a ruptured Achilles, Anthony Richardson's on IR, Riley Leonard's hurt, but the Colts don't have a first-round pick next year.
Well, here's the first thing I thought of as well when I heard about this news.
Yeah, they went
about
all in this team.
Old Man Rivers coming back. And Bart Prudhomme points out, why in the hell would he restart his 5 years to get into the Hall of Fame?
The man's got 87 kids. He needs the money.
I'll tell you why.
He doesn't need the money that bad.
Kids.
He's got a better chance of being an early Hall of Famer with a later class, because I believe he's in a class with some all-time greats over the next few years. So
yeah, but I didn't get this at all. That was the first thing I thought of. Why in the hell would you restart your clock? I mean, that's kind of ridiculous.
Speaking of clocks, you know how slow he's going to be to react to things right now?
Earl said he's not he's not first ballot anyway. I mean,
not a first ballot, but he's a Hall of Famer.
Doesn't matter though. You're still restarting your clock. I mean, I think he's maybe not first ballot, but he's probably going to be in there the second or third time, and so now you have to wait. You still have to wait another whole chunk. I just thought that was a weird thing to come back.
I just don't get why you're doing
Did he look at the schedule before he decided to come back too?
Jim, you think it was the call like Major League? Hey, you want a quarterback for the Colts?
I don't know. I got a set of white walls on the other line. You could at least said you were with the goddamn Niners or the Patriots. Yeah, I don't know. All right, boys, we'll see how we do this week. I'll go have winning weeks, and
there is rumors going around that Burrow wants to leave Cincy.
Well, of course he does. He's not going.
And you know, there's Niner talk.
To answer Earl's Picks question, he said, is he actually going to start? He's the only Colts quarterback with a betting line right now on his passing prop.
Yeah, he'll be there.
What's the passing prop? Did he run the 40 before he got?
He ran it in 6.6.
Did they time it with a sundial?
Almost 6.7.
That was a complete accident too.
I believe his passing prop it's like 150 or 170. It's low.
I heard the Colts called Terry Bradshaw, but he said he didn't want to leave Fox. So
Cam Newton was pretty pissed.
Fox, Terry Bradshaw.
No, come on, man. He leaves when he wants.
It's like Lee Corso at this point.
You Gen Z assholes.
No, I love him. Just get him off my television.
Y'all are miserable sometimes.
He offers nothing.
He had his chance to come back.
I'm going to get you off my television right now because we're going bye-bye. I'll see y'all next week, and I will have the Christmas lights up next week. Can't wait. And by the way, thanks, UBN, for wearing such a fine shirt on the show today. Don't show the bottom of it.
Okay.
The people can guess what it says.
Yeah, they know what it says at the bottom.
See you later.
If you don't, you shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah, exactly. All right. That's going to about do it for us today. We have going along. I'm telling you, we're going to have I feel good about our picks this week overall. I think we're all three going to have a winning week. Although I know that's hard to do when you got a crossfire in there. I still think we're going to have a winning week. Maybe Steelers will win by exactly 3. It's a push. Can you bet on a push? I guess you can. You can bet on the Steelers to win by exactly 3, right, Gabe? I might actually go bet that. Before we go, I'm going to stay on for another minute. He's going to go look that up. What kind of odds can you get for the Steelers to win by exactly 3? Lance is saying, keep it classy, UBN. Not on this show. Not on this show. We have too much fun. By the way, before we go, again, I want to thank every member of the Dat family here that has showed up on this Friday, and especially all the donations in the super chats. I am like, was it Lance that I asked this to earlier? No, it was someone else asked me this earlier about membership. I am going to have a membership page. It's going to come up. It's going to start soon. I'd say within the next month or so. I want to get into the next year. I want to figure out exactly. I want to have ideas. I want to know exactly what I'm going to do for members only. Okay. I'm not just going to start a membership so y'all can donate whatever it costs, whatever we're going to decide it's going to cost for a membership. It's going to be cheap. But I want to know what I'm going to give to the members. I'm not just going to come on here and say, okay, y'all can donate now and then not have anything for you. I know it's also going to start with merch. In fact, I forgot to bring it on the air. My wife gave me an early Christmas present. Damn it. I forgot to bring it and show it here. But she had some Dattitude, first Dat merch. Well, we've got this, this came from Brady Cajun. He made this. Musette sent us a gift a couple months ago, and then she also had a super chat today. But my wife made some Dattitude stickers. She had some Dattitude stickers made. I'm going to put it on my computer. Later on, I'm going to be showing it off at the state championship game tonight. Shough and St. Charles Division II Select. I will be covering that for VSN. You can go check out what I did last night if you want to go check out on Varsity Sports Now the story I wrote about Ascension Catholic in Riverside. I also did a video. I retweeted it. You can go see it on X. By the way, Steelers to win by, you can't find an exact margin of victory. We're going to look for that more. But if you want to take the Steelers to win by 1 to 6 points, it's plus 290. I may do that. I think you can find I'm going to go try to find an exact, they win by exactly 3. Well, Slug is here. Yeah, we already talked about Michigan today. Sorry. Great show. Thank you, Charles. Mike Prange is riding with you to the game, huh? Go Eagles. You're going to give them another chance. I know UBN's going to the game. I'm working. Well, I'll be at the game tonight. So if you're at the Shough game, let me know. Anyway, thanks to everyone out there in Datland. Our next show, as you can see on the screen, Monday. It's Mono E Monday. We'll be talking about the Carolina Panthers and the Saints game. Who's going to win? We'll be talking about that. That's probably what Derry's Down will be about. We'll also start gearing. We're going to be spending a lot of time tonight looking towards Tulane playing in the playoff game. Playoffs. That's right, playoffs. Tulane in the playoffs. They're 17.5-point dogs. Just saying. 17.5-point dogs. Who do we like? We'll tell you that next week. LSU playing in the Texas Bowl. Will they finish filling in the staff? Who else is going to go into the portal? We talked about earlier. Caleb Jackson is leaving LSU, going to the portal. Lance, you want to know how you can listen tonight? I am not doing play-by-play. I'm actually covering it as a writer. I got to write. It's like riding a bike. Writing is like riding a bike. I actually got to write a story last night and last week. Antoinette, I know you hate that you can't listen live, but you can watch the game. If you want to watch the Shough St. Charles game and any of the other state championships, I will give them a free plug because they're doing a great job. You can find it on the LHSAA network. It is an app you can get on any of your streaming devices. LHSAA network. You can find it Roku, Apple TV. I don't know if you can watch it on your phone or not. I think you can. Anyway, go find them. I think you have to watch it on a TV, I believe. I think it's an app for Roku and Apple TV and whatever else. The Amazon box, Fire TV. Worth getting. I'm telling you. I expect that Shough St. Charles game to be a good one. David Herman, good show. Thank you so much. And Lance, again, thank you for being here. Again, I want to say thanks to all my family. One last time here is going to wrap it up for us on this Friday. I want to thank today's guest, Zach Ewing, UBN, of course, Gabe Henderson, and you are more than I guess. You're our family. Hope we can join us next on Monday. It'll be just us talking about whatever we saw on Sunday. A reminder to subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube page. Click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the air live. You can also find me on Facebook. Easy to find on Facebook. We're doing more shorts, more reels. I'll have instant reaction from the Saints game on Sunday evening because they played 3:25. So I'll have an instant reaction up by 7 o'clock on Sunday before I get to the dime on Monday. You can also find us if you want to just listen. You know how to find us. You know how to find the podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Amazon even. Find us everywhere. Dattitude Podcast. Everyone have a wonderful, glorious, fantastic weekend. Go Saints. We will see you on Monday. Take it easy, my friends.